Hi everyone, welcome back to Little Shop of Nerds. I'm Julia,
Mike, what's up?
and apparently we have a guest today, which is Chewy. He's super excited that Mike's here, and he doesn't like being held very much, so I'll put him down. Yeah. So, last week's hint was aquariums make me super horny. So which means we are talking about 51st Dates this week.
Yes. Now, this is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
Well, mine too.
Well, I got many others, but still, it's one of the best. And this is actually a rom-com that has comedy in it. And I know people say, what about the other rom-coms? Bullshit, none of those aren't funny.
I don't know. Some of them are.
Not really. Just, if you're not going to have any good comedy in it, just make it a romance movie. Don't have to put comedy in it.
There's some pretty good ones. The Wedding Singer is another really good one that has comedy in it.
Yeah.
Just Go With It is another one that he's done that has comedy in it.
Good. Yeah, with comedy makes it a rom-com. I'm talking about others that doesn't have Adam Sandler in it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I
liked that one.
It's funny, but I don't know if it's really rom-com. I think it's more like a bromance.
I think it's just supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, this movie is got from the 90s, I think, or the early 2000s?
Early 2000s, maybe around 2003 or 4, because remember the part where Arnold became governor?
Yeah.
So early 2000s.
Yeah, I can look it up real quick. You keep going.
Alright, it opens up with a bunch of women talking about their trip to Hawaii, or Hawaii. But either way, they're talking about how they met this great guy, and pretty much, and the guy they were hanging with was named Henry Roth, played by Adam Sandler. And pretty much Adam Sandler's character,
he's a playboy.
Well, playboy.
And he keeps lying to all the girls on why he can't keep in contact with them. So, like, he tells one girl, like, he's a secret agent, and then, like, another girl, he's, I can't remember. Like,
they say he was gay, or he doesn't believe in phones,
or he was married. Yeah, just stuff like that. He would always lie to these girls because it was just like, oh, he just wants a week with these girls, or he doesn't want to be tied down to anybody because of what his dream is. Which his dream is to get a boat and go up to Alaska to study walruses or something like that.
Yes, and pretty much, and also there was a hint that he had a girlfriend and he hurt him. That's why he never gets tied down.
Yeah, he apparently, because he's actually a vet at the local aquarium, and he was talking to his coworker Alexa, and who
I think is German.
Yeah, I think she's German, and she kind of...
Or Swedish. It's hard to tell. I think the hairstyle is German, though.
She kind of looks a little mannish. So he always makes fun of the way that she looks. I don't think she's like trans or anything. I don't think
gender fluid.
I don't think it's anything like that.
Just right now, we don't know. We're not.
I mean, and it's early 2000. It's 2004, so times are different. But
yeah, and either way, like I said, he only dates the tourist ladies.
Yeah, because his last girlfriend that he had in college cheated on him with her teaching advisor.
And this is funny. He's like, she was Alexa's like, oh, she liked the older woman, actually. Her advisor was a woman.
Oh, what? I apparently missed that because I heard like 50 years older.
Yeah. Well, either way, like I said, he's dropping off a woman at the airport. He cuts to his job. Rob Schneider is in it, like in every other movie, pretty much, in an Adam Sandler film. And he's playing a guy named Ula, which is a Hawaiian native. And
he had just gotten bitten by a shark. And he was getting stitches from Adam Sandler.
Yep.
And he's like, sharks only get aggressive if you touch their private parts. So, Ula is one of my favorite characters from this movie. Him and Doug, and we'll get to Doug later. They're my favorite characters of this whole entire movie.
Yes, and
he's got his 5 kids with him too.
Yeah, and before you say Hawaiian native, no, he doesn't look like a white person. Though then again, Rob Schneider is half white.
Yeah.
Half Filipino, but either way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw some of his stand-ups. He talks about, his mom's Filipino and his dad's white, so you get the point.
Okay.
But either way, he looks white, though. Either way, they get an emergency that Jocko, the
walrus,
was sick. And they helped him by pushing on his stomach. The walrus threw up on Alexa.
Basically, he was just supposed to burp, but he threw up instead. And then I think that's when they got into the discussion about Henry's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was after that. Because Alexa was asking him questions about it.
Oh, it was before that. It was, he was getting ready to leave to go on his trip to Alaska. His ship pretty much broke down and goes to a little diner
it was like a little diner where he sees Lucy for the first time.
Reading a book, and she's like an art teacher. She has waffles, making something into like a house or a teepee or anything.
She does it every morning.
Every morning.
We'll get to that why in a minute.
Yeah, and Henry starts to seeing this girl's liking her, but doesn't hit on her. Then he goes back the next day, helps her out with her thing, and they start talking and start flirting with each other and say they're gonna meet again, and
yeah, she's like, you want to meet again tomorrow for breakfast? Because I gotta teach class at 10 or something. And he's like, yeah. So, that doesn't really make any sense because I'll get to that in a minute. But so he keeps showing up, but she never remembers him. And then Sue, which is the woman that runs the diner, was at least one of the waitresses. She pulls him outside and she's like, this is what's going on with Lucy. Lucy had an accident about a year ago. She can't remember anything past that day. She always wakes up thinking that it's the same day every single day. So she wears the same thing. She does the same thing every day. She eats the same thing every day. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, how is her family able to afford her lifestyle? Because so she's going out to eat every single day at this restaurant, which it probably isn't very much, but then she always uses all that gas. She doesn't have any money coming out, so she's not or not coming out, but she doesn't have any money coming in. So then the only thing that I could think of is that every day her brother or her dad is just replacing that money in her bank account or whatever, unless she has some sort of settlement, from when the accident happened.
That or she could just be getting disability.
Yeah.
But still, they have to redo everything every day. She'll paint her dad's workshop, giving it a little color, giving it some good, nice animals. They'll watch The Sixth Sense again, celebrating his birthday every day, and
Yeah, because when the accident happened, it was her father's birthday, and they had come back from picking a pineapple, and a cow had gone out into the road, and they tried to avoid it, and that's how Lucy ended up the way that she did.
Yes.
She was in the hospital for 3 months, is what they said.
And they had special newspaper saying it's his birthday again over and over again, so she doesn't get confused.
And, well, not that it's birthday, but it's the same day.
Same day, and getting everything, like pretty much, so she doesn't have like an episode or.
I mean, that has to be like completely exhausting just to have to do the same thing every day, for over a year.
Yeah,
and but they did it to protect her, and one day Henry finally gets her to talk to him again, because after that she didn't really want to talk to him. She just saw him. Well, no, because when he was trying to talk to her, she started to freak out, thinking that he was trying to hit on her, and she didn't want that. And then they told her, but then he eventually did get to talk to her, and then there was a cop outside that was writing her a ticket because of her tags. They said that her tags were expired, and they had been expired for 9 months or something, 7 months, something like that. And she's like, "You're wrong," and she grabs somebody's newspaper. She sees the date, and she's like, "That can't be right." She goes over to the newspaper dispenser. She's pulling the newspapers out there. They call. Sue calls her dad, tells her what's going on.
And Adam Sandler's character goes with her. They finally tell her. They show her the scrapbook, and she starts to remember a little. And they go to the clinic where she was there before, talking to the psychologist, who is played by Dan Aykroyd. Mm-hmm. And they say what she has and everything. And the part where we get to Doug, and he asks, the doctor, he's been having a lot of wet dreams because, and the doctor says, lay off the juice.
Yeah. And then they meet this one guy named Tom.
10 Second Tom.
Yeah, 10 Second Tom. And because every 10 seconds he was introducing himself to everybody. And then Adam Sandler is like, "Hey, I got something to tell you." And he leaned forward and he said something about Doug having wet dreams. And 10 Second Tom looks over at Doug and says, "Aren't you a little old to be having wet dreams?" And it's just, there's moments that are funny.
Yep.
Among times. And then there was a scene where his dad or her dad was talking to Henry, and he goes, and Henry says, "Aren't you a little worried that she's going to wake up one day and it's going to look like that she's aged
10
years overnight?" And he goes, "I worry about that every single day." But then he does start to kind of accept their relationship a little bit.
What happened is Henry takes the scrapbook of her accident and everything, makes a tape. Yes, before then we had both tapes and DVDs. We couldn't get rid of the tapes yet right away. Mm-hmm. And makes a thing to show Lucy to help her to remember. And that's when the quote comes in, because Rob Schneider dresses up like Lucy and telling how they met.
Yeah, because apparently Lucy likes the smell of fish because her dad's a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the first things that she said that first day that they met, so this was before he knew about what was going on and everything like that. She wanted to smell his fingers because his fingers smelled like fish because of his job.
Yes, and she starts to remember, and there was one line she asked, "How's the cow?" Unlike you, just that every day they're going to have to convince her she's a cow.
Yeah. So the video was just how they met, then showing some pictures from her accident, and then eventually, which we didn't find this out later, but she started keeping a journal that she would read every single day after she watched the video. and then she would write down in it every night just so she can remember what was going on.
And she started every day she watched the video was with Adam Sandler. They starting to feel like they were actually in love, and she was starting hanging with her friends, hanging around people, and they they did it one night, and
Ola is watching in the aquarium. For some reason he's swimming around in the aquarium because where Henry's apartment is, it's in the aquarium. And it's basically just like his office, and he sleeps on the couch, and he's got like a little kitchen and everything.
Yep.
And then you can see like the glass from the aquarium all around and everything. And he
I would like to have that room.
I would too. Ola was swimming in it for some reason, and he was watching them do the deed.
Pretty much. And later, it cuts to a scene. They're at Lucy's house, and they're in her bed, and she freaks out. And the doctor comes over because she might be in shock. She watches the tape, and what was it? He looks at Adam Sandler, asks like, Am I going to get short? He's like, nah, you're good. You won't get short-term memory loss.
Yeah, and then he told Doug to lay off the juice again.
Because he said, did your head look like an egg before she hit you?
Oh, yeah, and then Doug got very defensive about him, and he was just like, oh, that's, I can't remember exactly what he called it. It was irrational short temper or something like that.
It's steroids, and he's like, it's not roids, it's a protein.
It's a protein shake. And he talks like that. And because, when he first, when the whole thing with, when Sue told Lucy's father about Henry, and he goes over to Henry's house for the first time, and he was pulling him to take him back to tell him off or whatever. And Doug is like, is that him? And he's coming up and he's trying to attack Doug. And then Adam Sandler just kind of flips him over. And he's like, hey, are we cool here? Are we cool? He's like, yeah, I'm cool. And he gets up. And then you also found out that he was disqualified from the Mr. Hawaiian because he was taking steroids. So
even the video had a picture of him because he was on drugs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So also after he met Lucy and he was starting to feel some things for her, he did go out on a date with one woman, and he was like, yeah, this is what both these drinks are not alcoholic. I just said that they were alcoholics, so you would think, and you would have shameless sex with me, and he's like, I just don't want to do that anymore. And she was like, okay, I can just forget everything if we could still have sex. And he goes, I can't really. He goes, but that person over there might be interested. And it was Alexa.
And
Alexa was waving at her.
And she's like, is that a woman? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, come to find out, Alexa did not sleep with the woman. And I think that's when it came up about Henry being cheated on by his college girlfriend.
Well, either way, after that whole thing with Lucy and Henry, she comes up to him saying she needs to erase him, so delete everything from the journal from him, pretty much she's going to type out her journal, but take the parts about him out, so because she knows that he ain't going to have much of a life if he's with her, because she's always going to forget and wake up with a pregnant belly, cannot remember.
Yeah, so they basically what they were going to do was because he was going to cancel his trip to Alaska so he could stay on the island with her, but she didn't want him to have to get rid of his dreams for her. So that was the reason why she decided to do what she did.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to. He fix up. He did. They break up. They did the whole kissing in the rain. I swear that's like every trope in the early 2000s. After the Notebook, everyone was doing it. Spider-Man, 51st Dates. Anyone wants to, it's like, you want a romantic kissing? Do it in the rain.
Hey, I would like to be kissed in the rain.
You've got a boyfriend, do it.
I do have a boyfriend.
So what's your problem?
All I'm saying is that I would like to do kissing in the rain, because I did watch this with Charlie last night, and he was like, he said, he got wet real fast, and I was like, oh yeah, and you can see her nipples during that scene.
You call me a perv.
I didn't. Okay, Charlie and I noticed at the exact same time. And we both saw it, and we both said nipple at like the exact same time. There's also a scene where
must have been cold.
Olo puts a joint in his butt crack.
I don't know why. Anyways, yes, he pretty much go back to his day-to-day life, forgetting her, missing her like everything else, and he's saying goodbye to Jocko the Walrus. And he's like, it's like, you got a good thing going on with your one girlfriend or something, And he's named it pretty much. Jocko's doing every female walrus, and he's like, all right, see you later, Jocko. Try to use a condom in case you're in your case a hefty bag.
Yeah. So he's getting ready to set sail, and Alexa and Olo and the kids are there to watch him go.
What was it? Was it Lucy?
And then Lucy's dad and brother show up with a box of Spam and Reese cups from
the cafe
that he was always going to.
Yeah, and Lucy's dad gave him a CD, and it was a Beach Boys CD, and I'm like, fuck.
I think that's the exact same CD. Well, in her case, she gave her dad a tape every time he would go out fishing. So this is probably the same album that Lucy gave her dad, just in CD form, and he called him a sick bastard. And then he found out that she was living at the institute teaching art. So then he turns around, he goes back for her, and he runs into her, and he was like, "Hey, do you remember who I am?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "But I want to show you something." And she took him up to her art studio, and all over the room were just different paintings of Henry.
And yes, and there was pretty much a good scene. They kiss. She wakes up watching the video that Henry made, talks about how they got married and telling her to wear a jacket because they're in Alaska. Lucy's dad's there, and they had a kid.
Yeah, a little girl. And that was basically how it ended.
Yeah, and this one thing I do know I liked about the movie is they didn't cure her illness. In my opinion, I know you're going to hate when I'm going to say this. I'm glad they didn't do that because, one, it would be a cheesy romance thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he made a big impression on her to the point where she could remember him. She could remember his face, but she couldn't remember who he was or why she was thinking about him.
Well, that's just it, but not completely gone, though.
Yeah.
So, in truth be told, what was it? Because I do know I was watching, it was a Nostalgia Critic episode, and it was, he was talking about the best Adam Sandler movies. He got down to 50 First Dates, and he says, I'm glad they didn't, he even meant, I don't normally agree with Doug Walker on movies sometimes, but I do agree with him on this one, that I'm glad they didn't cure the illness just because it wouldn't work for the film, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah, and I don't know, if they had cured her illness, Like, I don't think it would have been as good as it
No.
happened because, I mean, that is a part of her now. And they were saying that there was no way to cure it.
Nope.
So then for her to all of a sudden be cured after they had tried everything would have just been dumb.
Yeah.
So I am glad that they left it the way that they did with her not even really remembering everything.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, that is 50 First Dates. One of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10 for me too, but
What?
Rotten Tomatoes gave it, if critics gave it a 45%, and the audience gave it a 65%.
Fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes.
And the audience. Yeah, so like this one says, gross out humor overwhelms the easy chemistry between Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, who brings some energy and yucks to this tale of a girl with short-term memory loss and the guy who tries to get her to love him.
Yeah, see, I'm going to respect your all's opinion, but here's the thing, the movie was good. You guys need to go try to watch something.
Yeah.
Like, I get if it's your job. It's worse than IGN. Because IGN will freaking... Like, if a game's been so good, it had good graphics, good storytelling and everything, people gave it a 10 out of 10 and made millions, IGN will give it a bad rating.
See, this is one of the things what I disliked about... Because now we're getting into games, but this is one of the things that I disliked about Game Informer is that they would always give the same games over and over and over again. So I'm talking about like FIFA, Madden, all that games that are basically the same every single fucking year. And yes, they are. Come at me. They would always give them like a 10 or a 9.5 or an 8.5, but then like you'd have like a JRPG that would come out like a Tales game, and then they'd be like, oh, that's a 6 or 5.
Yep.
And I'm like, no. Fuck y'all, okay?
Yeah.
Just because it's not the same thing every single fucking year doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's
okay?
Same thing with Rotten Tomatoes with movies. They'll give a movie that's like a 90, and I'll be like say Shape of Water. They gave it close to 100 or 90%. I'm like, fuck you, that movie sucked. I didn't want to watch the woman who was fucking the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Well, that's pretty much what it is.
Well, so anyways, our point is people suck.
Yes.
Okay. This is a good movie. If you have never seen an Adam Sandler movie, or if you've never seen this movie by Adam Sandler, then you're living under a fucking rock and you need to go see it.
Yes.
Now, it's not on any streaming services as of right now. So Mike had to find it on Fandango or Vudu or whatever it's called now.
And you can and if you're going to watch Fandango or Vudu, whatever it's called, it's the same thing. You're going to have to watch it on your PS5. Yeah, they don't do PS4 no more.
Well, we watched it on Charlie's TV, his smart TV.
Well, either way.
So, if you have like an older console that you do all your streaming on, you're probably not going to see it. But most of you might probably have a smart TV, so you can just find it on your smart TV, like your Roku or whatever.
What's next week's hint?
So next week's hint is Hard Candy Christmas.
And we'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.